Hey everybody, and welcome to another segment of AstrologyAnswers.com's weekly forecast. My name is Terence. The week begins on Monday, March the 10th, 2025. This is a big week because on Thursday, the 13th, even into the 14th, will be a full moon lunar eclipse. Well, I'll discuss that in a minute. But let's start with Monday, the 10th. And as you know, I always start with where is the moon? Because the moon represents the public tone, the public reactions. And it's in Leo when we start the new work week. Leo is a fire sign. It's dynamic, it's extroverted, it's creative, it's romantic energies, all these qualities of Leo, and will be in harmony with loving, creative Venus between around 9-10 a.m. Pacific time. Very favorable for the arts, very favorable for connecting with a loved one. By late afternoon, now the Leo moon will be in harmony with expansive Jupiter. Emotionally, that's the moon with Jupiter. It's much more optimistic and upbeat. But in more mundane matters, you might be really focusing on making travel plans or educational plans. On Tuesday, the moon continues in Leo, but by early afternoon, it's going to be in a square or hard angle to disruptive, unpredictable Uranus. So there might be some sudden surprises. Now, depending on the rest of your chart, it might be a surprise you don't want, or it could be more exciting surprises. But the moon will then go void of course, which I mention every week. The moon is no longer making any aspects to other planets before it changes signs. So that period of no longer making aspects is the void period, a void of course. When the energy is flat, it's unproductive. Now that is from 1:17 p.m. Pacific time until the next day, till Wednesday at 12:56 a.m. With the moon void of course, just stay the course, keep doing what you've been doing. It's just advised, do not introduce anything important new, because if you did a chart for the moment you started a new event, a new job, a new project, and the moon's void of course, the energy is kind of weak and unproductive to support any kind of success. On Wednesday, the moon at that 12:56 a.m. Pacific time went into Virgo. Now, Leo is, when the moon was in Leo, the public is more outgoing, more sociable, more romantic. When the moon goes into Virgo once a month, Virgo is more work-oriented, service-oriented. And where Leo likes the grand, big picture, Virgo is more focused on the details. So it's a good work-oriented sign. And the sun in Pisces will align with taskmaster Saturn. Now that can play out of a day of major responsibilities, or it could be a day, that's the sun, where you're feeling very restricted and worrisome. Again, but the positive is Sun Saturn is remaining very focused, and try not to look at the situation as if the glass is half empty. On Thursday will be a full moon lunar eclipse, and we will have maybe a lunar eclipse about every 6 months. It is a full moon on steroids, where relationships, personal, professional, are no longer supporting you. It's a time of starting to let go, and particularly between the full moon lunar eclipse 2 weeks later will be a new moon solar eclipse. Those next 2 weeks could be a time of wrapping up and saying goodbye, letting go of those things that aren't supporting you anymore. On Friday, the moon continues in Virgo, but by noon Pacific time, the moon goes into Libra, where when the moon was in Virgo, it's very work-oriented, service-oriented. When it goes into Libra, the public is more cooperative. It's more seeking more peace, more cooperation, more sociable. By early evening, that moon in Libra will be in harmony with Pluto. But when it's in harmony, that means you're able to really express your feelings, the moon, in a really deep, more intimate way. That's early evening Pacific time. Now, don't forget that on late Friday, the 14th, going into the 15th, Mercury goes retrograde in the sign of Pisces till April the 7th. And the Venus, remember, went retrograde on March the 1st till April the 11th. So we're going to have now, starting Friday, Saturday, sociable Venus is retrograde, communication Mercury is retrograde. We can build mountains out of molehills, we could obsess, but this is a good time to reset your relationships. Saturday, the 15th, the moon is in Libra, which is good for that Friday into Saturday because the Libra energy wants more harmony, more peace. And the moon, early morning, 7-8 a.m. Pacific time, will be in opposition or tension with the retrograde Mercury. So it's only lasting an hour or two, but the moon is emotional and the Mercury is rational, but the Mercury is retrograde. So you don't have all the information. You may be jumping to conclusions. So it's not a good hour or two to have any kinds of important conversations or trying to make any important decisions. By mid-afternoon, the Libra moon, Libra's an air sign, will be in harmony with Jupiter in Gemini, in air sign. So emotionally, the moon with Jupiter, more expansiveness, more optimism, and you may be more open to really thinking about long-range goals, the long-range future with Jupiter, but also perhaps with education or with traveling plans. And on Sunday, the moon in Libra, cooperative Libra, will be void of course the entire day from 2:53 a.m. Pacific time until right after midnight, going into March the 17th at 12:30 a.m. Pacific time. So the moon's going to be void of course. Mercury is retrograde. Venus is in retrograde. This is a really favorable time for being quiet, introspection, just reflecting on what's been going on with your jobs, with your relationships. Not time to be making decisions, making any actions, but it can be a very spiritual time, a very introspective, psychological time, kind of like reset yourself. I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you next week with my next segment. Until then, be safe and well.